Chessboard killer Russian Alexander Pikhushkin, then 33, was sentenced in 2007 to life imprisonment for 48 murders, mostly between 2002 and 2006. Most of his victims were elderly alcoholics he met in a park outside Moscow. Kanye West funny tweets he threw them into sewers where they drowned. Then strangled or hit them with a hammer first after some managed to climb out. He threw one from the 16th floor. Pikhushkin said he wanted to kill one person for each of the 64 squares on the chessboard, and cross out one for each kill, which earned him his nickname. Chinese drifter Yang Xinhai was executed in China in 2004, at the age of 35, after killing 67 people in a 3-year revolution that ended with his arrest in 2003. Characterized by an introverted person, he cycled from one murder scene to another, entering homes in rural areas and often slaughtering entire families with an axe, hammer, or spade. Police listed robbery and rape as motives, but Yang was also described as a deranged killer who simply enjoyed what he was doing. The worst in America. Gary Ridgway, a former truck painter, was sentenced to 48 life sentences in 2003 after he confessed to killing 48 prostitutes and fugitives between 1982 and 1984, a murder that terrorized Seattle. He was 54 years old at the time of his conviction. Nicknamed Green River Killer, after the waterway where his first 5 victims were found, he is the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history. Doctor's death. Harold Shipman, a family physician in northern England, was sentenced to life in prison in 2000 after being found guilty of killing 15 of his elderly patients by giving them lethal doses of morphine. He hanged himself in prison in 2004 at the age of 57. An investigation the following year found that Shipman, nicknamed Doctor of Death, killed about 250 patients between 1971 and 1998, making him the nation's worst serial killer ever. Travel salesman Luis Alfredo Garavito, a street vendor, was imprisoned for 835 years in 2000 at the age of 42 for the murder of 189 boys between the ages of 8 and 16 over the 5 years until 1996. Known as the Genova Monster, after his birthplace in Colombia, Garavito met his victims by pretending to be a charitable worker, salesman, monk, or disabled person, among other disguises. He would lure them with food and drink and usually cut their throats after raping and mutilating them. Some were beheaded. And there were 4 murders in Ecuador. Russian butcher in 1992. 56-year-old Russian Andrei Chikatilo was sentenced to death for 52 sexually motivated murders of women, children and youth between 1978 and 1990. The former teacher, known as the Rostov Butcher, after the Far Eastern region in which he was particularly active, was executed in 1994. Andean Monster in 1980. Colombian Pedro López Monsalve was arrested at a market in Ecuador after trying to kidnap a young girl. He later admitted to strangling at least 310 children from poor backgrounds in Colombia, Ecuador and Peru. Maisie Williams' blonde hair, initially accused of raping and killing 4 children, the Andean monster, led the police into a field where the bodies of 53 young girls were buried. He was sentenced to 16 years in prison, the maximum sentence in Ecuador, and in 1994 he was extradited to Colombia where he was held in a psychiatric hospital. He was released after several years. Disappeared and will be around 70 years old today. The video is only for information, so that you know that the world is a paradise that is not devoid of demons. Thanks for watching.